ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Today we are going to talk about something people don't like talking about. Well, actually, yeah, you see an artillery here, and that is one of the sore subjects, but also one of the other vehicles, Type 5. These are basically two of the most hated vehicles in the game, artillery and Type 5 Heavy, and the Type 4 Heavy. There's a couple other, I would have to say, like Object 268 version 4, that's another one. It has recently been nerfed, not substantially enough to really make a whole big difference. I think more or less it's just they nerfed the engines, the speed a little bit, maneuverability, gun didn't get touched, armor supposedly got weakened on the lower plate, but you could fool me. But that one, I think it's still not as sore of a subject as your T92, your gun carriage, and your Type 5 Heavy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3 matches in these. I haven't done them yet, but I'm going to go do 3 matches in them. And you're going to basically, I'm doing 1 match. That's it. In each one of these vehicles, you're going to see what you get is what you get. And I'm going to show you basically, hopefully, that you can make, still want to say, with artillery, not as much as it used to be. With the Type 5 Heavy, yeah, big time. You can make somewhat, if you play it right, too much of a difference in the match. As in, you can do more damage and block more damage than your other tier 10 tanks in the game. I'm hoping to get all tier 10s, which will kind of level the playing field, because when you see tier 8s and you start shooting them with a Type 5 or gun carriage or T92, you know, you hit them for 3/4 of their health a lot of times in one shot. Some of the vehicles you'll one shot. So I'm really hoping to get all tier 10 vehicles. And, you know, I guess there's really the only people that can fix this is Wargaming, obviously. They're the ones that design the tanks, the game. They're the ones that put these out. They're the ones that make the updates, the patches. They're the ones that make the nerfs, the buffs. And don't get me wrong. Personally, I love the Type 5 Heavy the way it is with this gun because it actually, you can actually do damage with it now. The other gun that you can get on this, it wouldn't be too bad if it actually had decent penetration. You get 2 AP rounds, if I remember right. Yeah, you get 2 AP rounds and a high explosive. The high explosive, believe it or not, is still 70 pen, whereas your HE shell on this 15 centimeter, which this other one's a 14 centimeter, is only 5 more. But if you look at the damage, this one does an average of 770 damage per hit, where this does an average of 1,400 or 1,100, depending on if you, which obviously most people, including myself, if I'm going to have an option between using this shell that's going to do 1,100 damage or this shell that's going to do 1,400, well, I'm going to want to do more damage, so I'm going to pay the extra to get the damage. The shell does more damage. Whereas the other one has 5 less penetration, but only does an average of 770 pen. 249, pretty pitiful for the standard round, and they don't even give you heat or APCR. They give you AP and AP for both your rounds, and then your premium round only bumps you to 282. So that gun just really completely sucks, and that's why a lot of people go with the derp gun on this, myself included, because you're guaranteed to pretty much, I mean, I think I've actually bounced, believe it or not, rounds in this, like on maybe T110E3, hitting the wrong spot, but I have bounced an occasional round with it, which it's hard to believe because an HE shell isn't supposed to bounce. It explodes, and it's, you know, how does an HE shell hit something, not explode and bounce? It just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, so then we touch on the subject of artillery. They nerfed the living snot out of these, but I've still had matches where I've hit things for 3/4 of its health, and I'm talking tier 10s. I mean, I've still one-shot tier 8s, tier 9s. Haven't one-shot any tier 10s since they've done the nerf. I don't like they have, and on the tier 9s, it's not very often. It's a hit and miss, depending on if you hit them in the side or the rear end. On the engine deck, catch them on fire. It's not always the shell doing the complete amount of damage. A lot of times you'll set them on fire, and then they burn the rest of the way off. A couple tier 8s I have one shot by shooting them in they turn around, hit them in the engine deck in the back. Not caught them on fire, but that's the weakest part of the top that you can hit, and boom, they are gone in one shot. Or lightly armored, Grill 15, Sheridans, just stuff with really no armor. T100 LTs. I've one-shot T100 LTs with my Type 5 Heavy from full health. So, yeah, they still do have the capability. So, we're just going to go in literally 3 random battles. You get what you get. And I just want to show you, hopefully, how much of a big difference you can make in the battle with these, 2 types of vehicles, but 3 vehicles being the T92, the gun carriage, and Type 5 Heavy. So if you want to hold on, I'll be back in a few. You won't see a difference. It'll go right to the replay for you guys. But I'm going to go ahead and do 3 battles. I would love to do them live, but I just don't have a good enough internet. I'm going off my cell phone signal. Well, I bought one of those unlimited little boxes, so it's not going off my cell phone, but it's the same aspect, still using a cell phone signal. So I don't get 100 meg service. If I get I've gotten 50 meg service before off this thing, which is really nice. But most of the time I'm only getting about 10, 12, so it's good enough to play. But as soon as I try and do it live, where I'm playing the game at the same time as I'm recording, unfortunately, I don't have the bandwidth, and it makes it pretty much unplayable, which I've tried in the past, and so, I've showed you guys, basically that it just ain't happening. So, anyways, I'm going to go do 3 battles, and then I will put them on here and kind of talk you through them as we go through them. So, I will be back in a little bit. Alrighty, so here we are, and we're going to start out on Overlord in our Conqueror gun carriage, all tier 10s. So, excuse me, I was happy that this one was, I think, yeah, all 3 of them were all tier 10 matches. So, that worked out. Excuse me. I'm probably getting sick of all this damn rain. It's been raining. I've been literally the last 2 weeks straight, every state I've been in, it's been doing nothing but just crappy rain. But anyways, so what I'm going to do is kind of take up a decent spot. This side of the map is not the best for artillery. On the other side, you've got quite a selection of areas to go, and the enemy tanks usually get stopped right about here. Where it seems like when you're on the side that I'm on, they get up into here, and a lot of times you get spotted really quick. So I'm going to leave it right on the view that I was seeing when I was playing the match. I do mark the area that I'm going to shoot. I always do. I always try and hit my reload button, letting somebody know, okay, this is how long till I'm reloaded. That way, if they're low on health and they're thinking, oh, here comes a tank, or I got to pull out, I like to click my button and say, hey, 4 seconds till I'm loaded, don't risk it, I can help you out here. And so we didn't even hit that E50M, and we just whittled 162 off him. Nothing spectacular, but I think we actually hit the 60 TP also for a little bit. Nope, he's still full health. But this is where I think it's a little overkill on Wargaming's part when they have 2 and 3 arties per side. I think they need to limit it to 1, because right now we've got 2. Myself with the big gun, and we've got a Bat Chat arty that gets, I think does he have 4 shots still? I sold my Bat Chat arty a long time ago. I think it's still, yeah, so we just hit that 60 TP for 643 in a side, but still, 643 of his health gone. Yeah, I can't remember on the Bat Chat 155-58, the tier 10 there, if that's got 4 shells or 3 shells now. I'm going to have to look. I really don't know. It used to have 5 when it first came out, and then they knocked it down to 4, and I'm not sure if they whittled it down to 3 or if it still has 4. So, but anyways, so I'm hitting them hard, and he's hitting them constantly. So that's why I think just more than one artillery on any map is overkill. So this T-110E4 setting back here, and we just launch a nuclear shell and hit them for 507. So we're up to 1,312 damage, and I'm trying to hit their, and you can see I'm not sticking on one target. I like to spread the joy, per se. I like to take a little bit off of everybody so that, well, E100 got flipping melted. I like to try and, the bigger guns, the ones that are kind of like this T-110E4, he's kind of in there, he's not easy to get shots at. So I'm going to try and, keep pounding him for another 493. We're up to 1,805 damage already. And, a couple of the shots might have hit other tanks and splashed them that weren't lit, but I don't know yet. So this is where, when you've got several artilleries, the teams really hate it because of the simple fact that, no matter how hard they try or where they are, and you'll see that in the T-92 replay coming up, where there was 3 artilleries. 3. And you'll see a lot of times where I was marking a target, but I was the only one marking. I would fire, and all of a sudden you'd see 3 rounds. Boom, boom, boom. And whatever was getting hit there just literally got melted by, all 3 artilleries. So I can't really get a shot in here unless I back up a little bit further, and I keep backing up. But I didn't let it aim in all the way on this one, and you can see it hit right back in here. So I was a little bit bummed when you got a 38-40 second load time and you shoot and your shell does that. It's like and the only drawback with the gun carriage is you can't reach across the whole map because it's got such an arc. The shell literally goes straight up and then straight back down, whereas with like your T-92, it lobs it more like that, so you can reach across the whole map a lot of times. So I wasn't going to waste a shell on the 60 TP. He's only got 210 health. So I want to go for this T-110E4. Already hits him. And I just hit him for only 273. But he's down to 322 health now. And you can see our team is just rolling over these guys. And, well, I don't want to say really just rolling over them. But the 60 TP looks like he's giving our team a little bit of a tough time. He gets taken out. Targets are starting to go a little more slim. Then E50M is in a really pretty good spot. He's got rocks in front of him. He's got a lot of tanks coming at him. I'm almost loaded. And I think I fire before he gets lit. No, he actually lights up. But he's not moving. And I just took him out. Hit him for only 308. But we're up to 2,386 damage. And this is where the gun carriage I like a lot, because you can get shots like this, where with the T-92 you can't get shots like this. Unfortunately for me, the enemies get knocked out before I get any more shots in. But you can see I'm hitting I got to set up as my 3 key to let people know, okay, this is how long till I'm loaded, and I mark an area with my targeting key, which is, I think, my T key, to say, hey, this is where I'm shooting. Please don't drive in that area. And it's funny, 9 out of 10 times people drive right into that area you just marked. But anyway, so 2386, not a super huge amount of damage. I think I actually had a little bit of splash damage on another tank. It ended up being like 2,400. It wasn't much more than what it shows for the damage that I did. But so I sat in the back of the map and click, click, click. Really not much skill other than you got to know how to lead a target. And once you've played your artilleries long enough, especially the different types of guns, the different arcs, you get to know them. So like I know this one compared to my T-92, which we're going to do next, how much of a lead I've got to put on the target because the flight time of the shell is longer on the gun carriage because it arcs the shell up higher and then comes straight down versus across. So you get to know these things with the arties as you play them. I'm playing them because I need to get the missions, like literally one mission done for artillery, and I'm done with the arty missions for the Object 260 Tier 10 prize tank, and I just want it, so I've kind of been playing a lot of arty recently, just trying to get that one mission done. That's all I need, one mission. It's killing me. But, yeah, so anyways, you know, I can sit here and drink a pop, smoke a cigarette, eat a slice of pizza, and go click, click, click. Whereas the other, you know, tanks, they actually got to have both hands moving. They got to look around the map. I mean, I just got to look and watch kind of what's in front of me that I'm aiming at, and on the mini map, kind of make sure nothing gets up past this area here. If I start seeing tanks in this area, I need to haul tail so I don't get lit and shot. But yeah, so it's not really a skill based as much when you play artillery as it is when you are in a tank or a tank destroyer or medium tank or a light tank. You just kind of point and click. Make sure your reticle shrunk all the way in. Make sure that the target you're going to shoot at's either setting still or you lead it, and hopefully he keeps driving forward to where you're going to drop the shell. Really not a huge, you know, skill base needed to play artillery. And no offense to people there's people that's all they do play is artillery. And no offense, don't take that the wrong way. I don't want you to be like, ah, fuck him, you know. What I'm just saying is it's a lot easier to play artillery than it is to play a medium or heavy or a tank destroyer than it is to sit back and kind of point and click. But anyway, so that was the gun carriage. Not a whole lot of damage, 2386, but that's 2386 damage that I got setting in the back of the map, hitting tanks that have big guns like their T110E4, their E50. I slapped him around a little bit. You know, I hit a lot of their 60 TP. I hit him one time for 643. You know, so a quarter of his health is gone, and I'm back in the back of the map doing this. And it gets worse when you have more than one artillery. I really wish Wargaming would knock it down to one artillery per side. None of this three, not even two, just one. One is plenty. That's all I need. One. And I think a lot of players would actually come back to playing the game if they knocked it down to one artillery, because a lot of people do rage quit, and I've done it myself. You know, God, fucking artillery here, I'll be in my moss just getting dropped one shell after another, and it really sucks when the enemy team has two or three of the Bat Chat Tier 10 autoloaders that get, I'm pretty sure it's 3 shots now, but anyways, we'll say 3 shots. You know, that's 9 shells, and they just keep dropping them on you over and over and over, so you're stunned the whole match. And it's like, God bless them. You know, there's 14 other tanks. Shoot at somebody else, you jackasses. And they might only poke off, 50 or 75 damage per hit, but you can't do anything because you're consistently stunned the whole match. And that's why I think they really need to knock it to one artillery, and that's it. But anyways, I'm going to hold on for a minute. I'll be right back with another artillery match in the T92. And then we'll do the Type 5 Heavy, because there was all Tier 10s for all the matches. So, I'll be back. Alrighty, so here we are on airfield, and 3 artilleries per side. 2 T92s and a 261 on our side. A gun carriage, 261 and T92 on the enemy side. And you'll see here right off the bat, somebody starts saying something about artillery. And I agreed with him too. He was like, God damn, 3 arties per side. This sucks or something. I'm like, yeah, affirmative. I agree with him, This is, and you'll see, on this map, you'll notice when I shoot, a lot of times on certain maps, once I shoot, I'll definitely move. Whereas on the other map, yeah, fuck this map with arty. And I agree with them. This map really sucks with arty because you have it's a hard map to play when you got especially 3 artilleries. But on this map in particular, once I shoot, I usually always move because it's a lot easier to for tanks to figure out there's only so many spots you can set on this map in artillery. Whereas the map we just had, it's a little easier to not have to move around just due to the fact that the area is so big and there's so many areas that artillery could be setting. And this is one area that I'm going that artillery does frequent. I don't really like going to this area, but for one, there's 3 artillery. And 2, when I set in this area, I can get shots at all these guys sitting right here. Beautiful shots, and you can see I'm loading premium shells. They don't do any more damage. You don't get any more bang for the buck, but you do get a bigger area of drawing a blank here. what is that called? Stun. Your stun area and your stun area. Yeah, you see I'm moving, I'm shooting to move and trying to get out of the way. But you got a bigger area that it can splash damage. That's the big word I'm looking for, splash damage. It with the premium shells, it does splash a bigger area. And the shell that I just shot actually, oh, this is going to be a bummer because this match, I don't have the post-game stats, and I actually did a lot of damage on this, but you're not going to see. It only shows at the end like 800 and something. I ended up doing it's like 4,000, I think it was. It was a ridiculous amount of damage, if I remember right. Yeah, it was this one. I wonder if... Yeah, we might be able to add it up. But some of them, it doesn't show because a lot of times I get shots in here and it's hitting other tanks because of the splash radius. I'm going to have to go to that. There's a program that you can look at your other matches you had, and I'll pull up the amount of damage that I had to give you an exact number. But like this, I was going to try shooting between these two to knock two of them out to get a... that award where you kill two tanks at once. So I didn't want to hit the M4 directly on, so I'm trying to aim just in front of him a little bit. Unfortunately, the M48 pulled forward. If he wouldn't have pulled forward, I probably would have hit both of them and killed them both. But I did kill the one there. The AMX M454. That 60 TP had a real nice spot back there. He kind of stayed right in that area. Yeah, I'm going to have to get that program pull up this match and find out exactly what I did for damage, because it was a lot. Normally I have the post-game stats for after the match, but once again I screwed up. I did the battles, and I'm at a stop right now getting unloaded. They came and knocked on my door, so I assumed they were done, so I shut my computer off real quick. They were just letting me know what the lumper fee was, the amount they charged to unload the truck. So I was like, oh shit. And so I shut everything down, so I had to turn it back on and get back on, and now I'm doing this, but unfortunately I lost the post-game stats for these matches. Now for the Type 5 Heavy, I'm pretty sure all my shots, none of them were blind. Actually, one of them might have been a blind shot, and it was for a good chunk of damage on a Grill 15. I think I hit him for like 1,700 damage in my Type 5 Heavy. It's either 14 or 17. It was a huge chunk of damage. But you can see it's only showing that we've done 837 damage so far, and I've actually done a lot more than that. I was kind of surprised when I was seeing like this, where some of these tanks were playing. Like, I can understand the 268 setting up here, but there's an IS-4 setting up where artillery or tank destroyer is set, and artillery. So I thought I'd give them a little bit of love, Barely even, it hit the, kind of the hill in front of him, and still splashed him for 348. I mean, I didn't even hit him directly. I wanted to get this 60 TP knocked out, because those things got a hell of a gun. Great armor, good reload, and I'll have mine hopefully this evening. I should be actually working on, all I need is 11,000 more experience. It's like 3 matches, because it's a 3X. So this one, I actually hit him, and obviously I killed him, but it doesn't show it here at all. So that's what I mean. I need to get the post-game stats so I can give you the exact damage amount that I did on this. Which what I'll do is I'll try and get it, and I'll just pause this, get the amount, and then I'll clip back in here at the end and let you know what the actual damage was. I was surprised that IS-4 was still sitting there like an idiot. But they're down to 2 arties and 2 tanks. I mean, we've only lost 4 tanks. But watch, now you'll see that the targets are getting less and less. 3 arties. Boom, boom, boom. My shell actually did hit him for some damage, but he disappeared for a second there, and when my round hit, he was invisible, so it did splash damage on him, but it doesn't count. So it only looks like I've done 837 damage here, and when I was playing the game, I'm like, man, I know I had to have done more damage than that. And then after, it might have been like 3,000 damage. I know it was a lot more than 837 that it's showing. And I was just getting ready to pull the trigger, and I'm almost loaded, and here we go. I pull the trigger here in a second. Watch this. Here comes my round. Somebody else hit it before mine did. That's mine. I'm like, shit. So it only shows I did 837, but hold on a second. I'm going to pause this, and I'll be right back, and I'll give you the exact amount. Alright, so the total damage was 1,925, so it's a little under 2,000, but it only showed 837, so I wanted to give you an accurate amount. I need to find a better recording software than this NVIDIA. I mean, don't get me wrong, NVIDIA software is good, good quality, it's easy to use, but I can only do recordings of games. I can't record anything on my desktop, Armor Inspector, any of that stuff. And I would like to have the ability to do the recording on my desktop so I can show you guys other things. But as of right now, I can only show you in-game stuff. Like, I would like to show you the actual total results going off the replay website that World of Tanks has, because you just upload it and then you can look and see what the damage is that you did. I got a bruiser for the amount of damage, because you do at least your hit points and damage, you get that. I believe that's how it works. But yeah, so 19, what did I say, 1925, whatever damage, so not too shabby, but again, I'm sitting in the back of the map, and just, 382, 205, 250, 232, 348, and then obviously a lot more damage didn't show up here. So, that's, and another thing is towards the end there, when the targets were getting less and less, where, you've got 3 artilleries and all 3 of us were alive, and 2 of us are T-92s and Object 261, like that one, that IS-4 that was down here a little bit. Where was he? Like right here. I mean, it was boom, boom, boom. All 3 shells hit him almost at once and just melted him. And it happened a couple other times that we were shooting at the same targeted areas. So, yeah, that's, I think, why artillery is such a touchy subject. But like I said, to fix the problem, knock it down to 1 artillery per side. That's it. That's all it needs. I bet you they'd get a lot of players coming back to World of Tanks if they did that. Because I don't like it when I'm playing and there's 3 artilleries, especially if I'm in a slow Type 5 Moss E100, something that moves slow, because they're just going to focus on you, and especially if you're a Unicom or a Super Unicom, or you've got really good stats, you're going to be the first ones that they try and just whittle the shit out of, and it's just annoying. And I don't like it any more than anybody else does, and the only reason, like I said, I'm playing artillery right now is just due to the fact that I'm trying to get that Object 260 reward tank. So, 1 mission to go, and yay. But, yeah, so anyways, if you want to hold on for a minute, we'll do the Type 5 Heavy, and I'll also bring up the results and give you the exact damage I did in that one, because I think I did get a blind shot or so in that. So, yeah, so if you want to hold on for a minute, I'll be right back with the Type 5 Heavy replay. Alrighty, so here we are in Mannheim Line, I can't even pronounce it, Mannheim Line, and I think probably the most hated vehicle in the game, the Type 5 Heavy. And you are going to see why in this replay. It is the most hated vehicle, most hated tank, most hated everything in the game, and you're going to watch and see why in this replay. Basically, you could be in an IS-7, haul down one of the most impenetrable turrets in the game, and you're still going to knock off 300-400 damage, shooting them right in the turret. You don't have to aim. You don't even have to hit a target. All you got to do is hit near a target, and you'll still do splash damage. If you hit lightly armored stuff, and you're going to see this in the Grille 15 on the enemy team. I believe he was almost either full health or very close to full health, and I hit him one time and one-shot him. He might have had 1,400. It was either 14 or 1,500 health, I believe. Don't quote me. He might have been hit one time. He might have been full health. I can't quite remember. I'm trying to hurry up because they're actually almost done unloading my truck right now. I think probably another 5-10 minutes. So probably right when this is done, they'll be undone unloading me, and I can get to my next pickup and pick up my next load and be on my merry way. So anyways, I do miss a couple shots on this because the turret doesn't move really super fast, and they're Kranvagn. I hit him here, like I said, point and click. Didn't even aim. I literally didn't even aim. All I was doing is pointing and clicking for 565 damage, and this is why it's the most hated tank in the game. Now I miss a couple shots here because he comes up here, wiggles back and forth, and I just completely donked, I think, 2 shots. And I usually don't get boisterous, but I think I was actually cussing. I think I was actually like, God damn it, how did I miss that shot? And this is one of them coming up here. He comes up here, right here, watch this. Now that time I was shrunk almost all the way in and missed, because he did wiggle back and forth. I went to shoot where he was, he wiggled back, and my shell went right in front of his face, and I do it again, and I was like, oh my God, you're kidding me. Right, it's coming up right here. And another one. That time I shot directly behind him. And right here, I'm backing up. I was cussing myself out. I'm like, oh my God, flipping aim, you moron. I yell at myself every once in a while when I'm playing the game. But these guys were pushing kind of hard, and I'm thinking, what the hell, I'll go down here. You know, at first I was going to stay up here because I was afraid the way it was looking that with what they had setting right here that they were going to really kind of push around here. But then I'm thinking, oh, wait a minute, we got, 3 tank destroyers, 2 heavies, and a heavy, that Moss. I want to come over here and back the Moss up in the E3. So I figured I was going to get my big fat tubby ass down here in the Type 5 and just start to really piss people off. That E3 was my biggest fear, was him popping over and putting it. He actually does get me once or twice, but he had a pretty good spot right there. But so there's a Grill 15. Okay, he had 1347 health gone in 1 shot. So I imagine he is really loving the Type 5 Heavy right now, because I can imagine he is probably swearing and cussing me out more than anything you can imagine. And I don't really blame him. Yeah, they had a lot of tanks over here. I really thought that at first that we were going to be in deep trouble here. So I really started pushing in hard to get some shots on these guys. I was watching this darn E3 right there. And we hit the E3, one of the most heavily armored tanks in the game, for 635. We're already up to 2,547 damage. And I just bounced the Badger. The E3 was shooting HE. So instead of shooting at somebody else hit that E3 and knocked him out. But then here comes the Yag Zealot to my right, and I'm thinking we're gonna lose some health here. I know it. I was gonna try and stay on my side, but he was able to get a good shot in on me. I just kind of aimed at his lower plate. Didn't even really hit his lower plate. I think I kind of hit underneath him a little bit and knocked off 536. Given he did knock 951 off me using a heat shell, but I got a better, faster reload than him. So bye-bye. And this is literally why this is the most hated tank in the game, I think, because I'm up to 3,640 or 36 damage, and I barely broke a sweat, and I still got close to half my health. And I took some heavy hits there. I got hit by the Yag Zealot for almost 1,000. Type 5 Heavy hit me for 458. We just hit the STRV 103B for 492 in the side, which I was like, what? I thought that would have just erased him. But it does have a little bit okay armor, I guess. Now, I'm just going on a blind shot here. I don't even think I hit him, but I hit close enough to kill him. So it shows we're up to 4,128 damage. I end up doing 4,947. This guy right here, I think I get a shot on him. Yeah, that blind shot did hit. Not for a whole bunch, but it did hit. I always play my Type 5 Heavy pretty safe. I do push. If I'm top tier and there's a lot of 9s and 8s, I'll push like a madman. But when it's all tier 10s, a lot of times I'll play more safe, because a lot of times you end up being the last vehicle alive, and it's nice to have whatever, hit points you can. But we pretty much kind of destroyed this team. But it only shows I did 4,128 damage, but I ended up doing 4,947. See, I wrote it down. So this is the most hated vehicle in the game, and you can see exactly why. Oh, somebody got me in the top of the turret. That's weird. There is no Artie in the game. Huh, strange. That is really crazy. I wonder how in the heck he did that, or somebody hit me there. Must have been hit by some laser-guided missile from above. But anyways, so personally, I think these are probably the 3 most hated vehicles in the game. This is being number 1 for obvious reasons. Point click, don't even have to aim. You're still going to take off, hundreds and hundreds of health. If it's lightly armored, I one-shot basically that Grill 15 for, 1,340 some damage in one shot. Yeah. Low skill-based tank. Doesn't take, you still have to be careful. You don't want to just roll right out and get yourself, because it still gets penetrated. Obviously, I got penned, I bounced 1,620, but, I got hit with some pretty heavy guns. It's all tier 10s, it's not any tier 8s hitting me. So, anyways, the 3 most hated vehicles in the game, on my personal opinion, and this being number 1. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You guys take it easy, be safe, and I will see you on the battlefield.